picks the most underrated point guard ever. NBA Today starts now. Welcome in to NBA Today. We're coming to you from across the nation. I'm Andrea Carter, filling in for Malika Andrews. Alongside me, I have NBA champion Kendrick Perkins and NBA reporter Dave McMenamin holding down our LA studio. Guys, let's get right into it. It was an all-time summer for LeBron, Steph, and Team USA in Paris, but it's time to turn our attention back to the NBA. Let's remind folks at home where things stand. The Lakers had a pretty tame offseason by their standards. They hired J.J. Redick as their new coach. D'Angelo Russell opted in for next season. Then they drafted Dalton Knecht and Bronny James and brought LeBron back into the fold in early July. So, Dave, coming to you first, because you've spent a little time around the Lakers. LeBron was just named MVP at the Olympics. Anthony Davis looked fantastic in Paris. Has the success of this summer changed the way the Lakers are approaching this season?
Andre, it hasn't. This was not news to the Lakers, even though J.J. Redick and Rob Pelinka made the journey across the Atlantic to be there for the medal round games in Paris to see their players up close. That's what they expect them to do, and they are still looking at this group as being 10 months or so removed from being in the Western Conference Finals. And the patriarch of the Lakers franchise, the late Dr. Jerry Buss, always had the philosophy is if he viewed the Lakers as being a Western Conference finalist contender, then he would go into the subsequent season willing to push draft capital and take on salary to try to get them a little bit of an edge. And there's still people within the organization that view business that same way. And so this Lakers group, even though they lost in the first round to the Nuggets, that core got to the West Conference Finals. The Lakers management knows that with the right tweaking, they can get them back to that level this year.
Okay, so sticking to some old school philosophy, some might say, Perk, are the Lakers doing enough to capitalize on the greatness we're still seeing from LeBron, especially after this summer?
Well, they're trying, and like my grandma always used to say, God bless their heart, baby. They don't know no better. Because, look, at the end of the day, it comes down to this, all right? We just watched LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They look fantastic in the Olympics. Anthony Davis, the way he anchored that defense, like he's ready to come back, okay? And again, finish up where he left off from last season. But drafting Dalton Knecht and Bronny James, that's not enough. Hiring J.J. Redick, the firing of Darvin Ham, that's not enough, right? Rob Pelinka is on the clock. When you look at the rest of the Western Conference, Dallas got better, and they the team that actually went to the finals, right? We're watching Minnesota make moves. They're going to come back stronger. The Nuggets with Jokic and their core group is going to come back stronger. Again, what are the Lakers going to do to make sure they put the necessary pieces around Anthony Davis and LeBron James? Can they make it into the postseason? Absolutely. But let's be real. They're not making it to the Western Conference Finals with this roster. They have to upgrade, and Rob Pelinka got to make sure he's on his P's and Q's, especially after watching Anthony Davis and LeBron James this summer.
Yeah, you talk about pieces, and as great as these superstars are, LeBron, Steph, AD, they still need pieces around them. We talked about LeBron's team. Let's take a look at what Stephen Curry's Warriors have done this offseason. Klay Thompson, the superstar in the Bay, ended his run with the Warriors after 13 seasons and 4 NBA titles. Now he heads to Dallas in hopes of getting that organization over the top. Then the Warriors waived Chris Paul after his lone season in the Bay. Paul led the team with nearly 7 dimes per game and is now in San Antonio with the Spurs. The Warriors did bring in some new additions. NBA vets Buddy Hield, DeAnthony Melton, and Kyle Anderson will be a part of the rotation. Steph Curry, like LeBron, still capable of winning at the highest level. So, Perk, I'll ask you the same question we just had with the Lakers. Have the Warriors done enough to build around Steph Curry?
Hell no. And look, the moves that they made this offseason, they were popular, but they wasn't powerful. And I think right now, if you look in the direction the Warriors are going in, they have a lot of trust in their player development. Obviously, looking at Podziemski, with Kuminga, and getting those guys better, giving those guys more of more of a role on this team. But you still have Steph Curry, a guy that wants to win, a guy that every single season he wants to go out and try to win a championship. You can see the joy that he played with in the Olympics when he, for us winning the gold medal. It was all over his face, the emotions. We haven't seen that out of Steph Curry since they won their last championship. And that's going on, 2 years now? That's over 2 years now. So when I'm looking at the Warriors, yes, you should be building for the future, but at the same time, you got to keep in mind and make Steph Curry, while you have him, your top priority.
So, Perk, the irony of this will be both the Lakers and the Warriors will be among the teams at the trade deadline, probably going after the same type of players, the impact players that can make a difference down the stretch heading into the playoffs. It'll come down to who has the better package they can offer. Obviously, the Warriors were preparing a package to try to pry away Lauri Markkanen from the Utah Jazz. That didn't happen, so they still have a package. But guess what? There's be another team who's probably number one in the West this year, OKC, that has a ton of draft picks and capital and young talent that they'd be able to offer to beat any trade that maybe the Warriors and Lakers are going after. But neither of these teams right now are there. I just think they have the infrastructure to get into the conversation. And we'll have to see what you mentioned. Obviously, Rob Pelinka needs to mind his P's and Q's. He's on the clock. That applies to Mike Dunleavy as well.
You know, what, Perk, Dave, as you just mentioned, these teams might be going after some of the same players. Package aside and money aside, Perk, if you're a player, you're looking at the Warriors with Steph Curry and you're looking at the Lakers with LeBron, which team would you want to play on?
To be honest, I mean, the eye candy is the Lakers because Anthony Davis, right? I mean, yes, you know what Steph Curry is going to bring to the table, and yes, you know what LeBron James are going to do. We're talking about all-time greats. But Anthony Davis is in the middle of his prime. Anthony Davis last year had arguably the best season of his career, making all NBA and I believe it was, first team all defense. And when you have a guy like Anthony Davis, and that's your deciding factor, a guy that could, defend all positions, a guy offensively who's one of the most skilled power forwards, that's what makes the Lakers so much more attractive than the Golden State Warriors, especially with them losing Klay.
There will be some people in the Bay that might be mad at you about that one, Kendrick Perkins, but I'm going to let you have that one.
It won't be the first time.
We've decided the Lakers aren't doing quite enough for LeBron. The Warriors aren't doing quite enough for Steph Curry to give them a title shot this season. So the inevitable question is, should they team up? We know the chemistry is there. The Warriors opened the door to this last season. Dave, does it feel like this is a more realistic option coming off of the Olympics?
Andrea, somewhere in the Marvel multiverse, this is happening right now, and there are NBA fans going nuts for their pairing. But it's not happening in our reality. It's not going to happen in our reality. Steph Curry is set up to be much like Kobe Bryant with the Lakers or Dirk Nowitzki with the Mavericks. He's going to play every single game of his career in a Golden State Warriors uniform. I'm convinced of that. And LeBron James has made it clear that he's putting down roots in Los Angeles, not just for himself, but for his family, or his son is now his teammate. First time in NBA history that's occurring. And by the financial commitment the Lakers made to him this summer at this stage of his career, that says a lot. So, right now, LeBron is lockstep with the Lakers, and Steph Curry, he's up in the Bay.
So, okay, Perk, how about this? You give us a percentage chance that we ever see LeBron and Steph on the same team in the NBA.
Listening to Dave, I wanted to go 0, but I'm gonna have some hope here as a fan, not as an analyst, but as a basketball fan. I'm gonna give it a 50% percentage chance that we could see LeBron and Steph team up. I'm not saying it's gonna be this year, but again, going back to Olympics, we saw how much joy those two had together for us playing with one another. We saw, in the Olympics, relationships happen, right? And I just feel like keeping a close eye on the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers and how their season and what happens throughout the course of their season, I'm telling you, off-season could get very interesting when it comes down to these two powerful individuals.
Yeah, Perk, that's something you said yesterday. First of all, I like 50-50 chances. I like that a lot. And with the greatness that these two hold in their hands, it feels like they could make something happen if they really wanted to. And speaking of greatness, and